What is going on, everybody?
This is Devin. That's Biker Mike from Mars.
What is going on? It seems like yesterday that we were in front of these microphones. I know it was only 3 days ago.
3 days
I know,
ago.
but it feels like yesterday, and I'm happy.
Yeah, well, today's a Monday. We recorded Cults on Friday.
Yep, and it's just because my wife is out of town, so I can get away with recording twice in a weekend, or a week time. Where this is the time she'd be like, yeah, do it. This is the time to do it. And do you know what really sucks?
What's that?
When your wife is out of town, all I want to do is record because I'm like, let's just do it. But we never quite get around to it because you've got other plans. You still have to work. You still have to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
Life happens. My wife's out of town. I'm like, yeah, we got to record. But again, you're still doing shit and I'm still doing shit.
Yeah, it just seems like there's just a regular... There's just a regular rhythm.
There is just life, and we just can't get away from it. Cause
yeah. Well, I mean, when my wife's out of town, I need to do shit. I need to do stuff in order just not to go down a hole and just wind up gaining 10 pounds and watching TV the whole time.
Yeah, and you can pound the hours too, really. You can get up extra early if you want to. Or
I'm
work
not a morning person.
No, you're really not.
Screw the morning.
It is hilarious. Like, I'm not a morning person either, but as much as I'm not a morning person, you're very not a morning person. I don't see the point. I can always work later in the evening. I'd rather work later in the afternoon than work in 7:30. Like 7's like, oh, fine, I will. 7:30, yeah, I will. But given the choice, yeah, I'd rather just work later. But my wife doesn't like that because she likes to have dinner. Like, if she has dinner ready, she wants me to come home and it be hot and delicious and ready for me. If I'm late and it's cold, she's mad.
Yeah.
It's the patriot. And this is not me putting the pressure on her to make sure it's fresh and hot.
Yeah, I find myself, like, I work till 5:30 to 6. Like when I'm on a project, like, between 5 and 6 is when I wind up wrapping up for the day and coming home.
Yeah.
But no matter how early I get up, that end time doesn't really change for me.
No. If you get up at 6, you're still working till 5:30. If you get up at 9, you're working till 5:30. Like, it's just that's your dead.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but that's just like my internal clock says, all right, work till the sun's at that point in the sky, and the moisture in the air feels like so, and then you can go home. It's like, right. I don't know what.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm looking at the clock saying like, 45 minutes until
quitting time.
Until quitting time. No, I'm just going until I'm like, yeah, I'm done. And it's always the same time.
Yeah. That sounds nice. I've been working outside lately, and we've had a few hot as balls days.
Yeah.
And I'm working where
it is different. If you're working outside with like 30 degrees Celsius weather or between 25 and 30, like,
yeah.
Like that whole spot from like 2:30 till 4:30, like it just sucks. You just don't even want to do it.
Siestas are real. Siestas, I understand Mexicans. I really do. This is the hottest point of the day. I will go take a nap and get back to work after. I get it now. I never got it. I'm like, well, some people don't get it. I get it.
As long as you go back.
As long as you go back. Which,
but there's a part of the day where all you're doing is like potentially giving yourself heat stroke.
And that's what our problem was, is that I was working in these conditions and it gets so hot. It's like, if we work ourselves, we could work ourselves, but then we'd lose a day.
Mm-hmm. On the other end.
It's like, no, we work until it's too hot and we're just to the point of exhaustion. And yeah, you have to get out of it. You have to push yourself away from the work, even though you feel like you can keep going, to work more later. So it's a little bit of, I keep bumping into shit here. It's a little bit of making it work for the conditions and for the job itself.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but even apart from work, like if my wife's gone, then I want to go to the gym, or I want to go riding motorcycles, or recording podcasts, or visit somebody.
Finish that story. So I went for a ride the other night to go fuel up, and I was telling my wife I can't justify going for rides for no reason. I can't do it. Like spending me time, like, oh, the kids are in bed, I'm just gonna go ride. I can't do it. I know you can.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm horrible at it. If somebody calls me to go for a ride, I'm a little more inclined. But if I'm just by myself, I'm gonna go for a ride. No. Anyway, so she's like, "Oh,
You don't feel any therapeutic value in it?
no, no. It's all about group therapy for me. Like there are times when I could go for a ride, but
Yeah.
they're so few and far between. Anyway, so I go hop on the bike to go get fuel, and the weather is perfect. You know those evenings that it's warm, but the sun's not beating down on you, but it's not cool. Like you just know I could ride in this condition, in this moment. I could ride 2 hours, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I hop on my bike to do that, and I'm like, oh, this is gold. And my wife's like, you can go for a ride. I'm like, I know I can. And I still didn't justify it to myself.
You should have just called me then.
I know I should have. I even thought of that. I'm like, I could have just called Deb. I think I left my phone. Yeah, I left my phone at my house because I was just getting fuel. I don't need my phone.
Oh, that's funny.
But I guarantee you, if I had my phone, we would have been out riding because it was perfect. It was perfect. Yeah. So we talked about cults. Now, one thing we didn't bring up on the cults thing was the end time narrative that a lot of cult leaders push. A lot of cult leaders push end of the world shit.
End times, baby.
End time, yeah, end times, end of the world, whatever. I don't care for it. I don't. The whole rapture thing that most people talk about, it bores me to tears. So we're going to talk about the end of the world.
Because obviously this whole podcast is to bore you to tears.
No. The Christian rapture philosophy bores me to tears. That annoys me. The idea of, hey, let's talk about ways that the world can end and destruction and all this stuff. No, I find that so interesting. I love it. It's just because most of the time, I don't think it's going to be what we think it is.
Yeah, I mean, likely we're not going to see it coming.
No. It's going to be something right out of the blue. So we put together lists of what we think
Of our favorite end time scenarios.
favorite end time scenarios. Are we going to count down, count up? I had an idea for mine. I made a fake list and a real list, and I don't know if I just want to go with my first one and then just mark my way, just whatever I thought of it in that order.
Oh, I think just talk about it, whichever one you feel like talking about, and then we'll give it a rating of how good of an end time scenario it is. And I don't know, we'll base that off of 1, how likely we think it might be, 2, how survivable it might be.
Yeah. Okay.
And, just maybe how much we personally like or hate the idea.
Like or hate the idea. All right, so I'll do the first one. I'm going to do my thing of what I think is going to happen, or what could end the world.
Is this a real or a fake one?
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you both, and a real and a fake one. And
so I have
you
to
tell
guess
me
which one is real and fake. Okay.
Which one's real, which one's fake.
Bring it on.
Okay, now I have to choose. I'm just going to go with my fun one right away. Global warming or climate change, global warming, whatever's hot at the time, the phraseology, or alien invasion. Which one do you think is real and which one do you think is fake?
To me, they're both concerns.
Yes, but for me.
For you, I think you would probably say climate change is the fake one.
Yeah, climate change. I am more worried. If I was worried about one, I'd be more worried about alien invasion. I honestly am. Of the two, not because I don't believe that humans have some kind of impact on the environment.
Okay.
But I don't think it's to the extent that matters. I don't think we're making such a contribution as a species that it actually affects it. Look at the argument is CO2, right? Did you know volcanoes put out more CO2 in a single eruption than most cities in the world does in a year? A single volcanic, how many eruptions do we have? There are islands that all they're doing is erupting.
Well, let's say the Hawaiian Islands, they're bubbling up magma.
Yeah.
They're not doing the big, gas explosion thing. Those are more rare. All right.
Okay.
We're going to pause right now.
Pause.
Grinch has some dadding to do.
Dad.
Okay. So, regarding climate change, that is on mine, like, as a real possibility.
Really?
Yes. However, it's like there's so many climate change scenarios that pose a threat to humanity.
Well, is it okay?
But they are long-term scenarios that we may or may not have anything to do with. Like we could have another ice age that could curb off human civilization.
Yes.
You know, in whatever 1,000 or however many many years. You know, we could have, you know, the temperature of the globe heat up and have some kind of dystopia, because like, can you imagine how much that would fuck up like all of economy, or even just Canada? Like if everybody moved out of like the center of the world into the poles or into the northern and southern hemispheres to try and escape just vast deserts and just
all right, so
non-inhabitable areas.
There is this thing going on that they're saying that there is more forest today than there ever has been in all the world's history because of reforestation. But they're saying no, other climate change activists are saying no, it's because trees are able to grow better.
One thing,
because, hold on,
I don't give a shit. I just straight up, I don't give a shit about what these guys say about their things of forest here. These guys say about droughts and shit over here. Don't fucking care. Fact of the matter is, this Earth's been spinning a long ass fucking time, and it's been Ice Age, Warm Age, Ice Age, Warm Age, Ice Age, Warm Age, and we're sitting in a really nice fucking sweet spot right now.
Oh, we're in Goldilocks zone right here.
And one way or another, there is some kind of switch that will eventually happen that is going to fuck our shit up.
Yeah, it's going to go right back to cold, and we're not going to...
But it has nothing to do with the political thing people call climate change right now. I don't fucking care about that.
Yes, and that's the problem, is that it's so politicized. But the deforestation, they say it's because of the warmer climate that trees are actually now able to get through, like the permafrost is moving further and further north, which is warming up the earth, and that's why trees can grow further and further north, why there's more forest in Canada anyways. And I'm like, okay, I kind of see where they're coming from. Do you know what trees and plants fucking feed on?
Yeah, CO2.
CO2. So yeah, we're gonna have more trees. That's literally what they feed on.
I'm not worried about this becoming like a planet like Venus with just like runaway greenhouse effect. I'm honestly not worried about that. I'm more worried about like a super volcano or something like that going off and setting off like a nuclear winter.
Nuclear winter. Yes, that is okay. So
that's a climate change.
That is
a climate change scenario.
Yes. But the problem with the phrase climate change is
because people have politicized it and they can all fuck off.
Because it's all encompassing. Climate. What does the word climate mean?
It means everything to do with the environment.
An environment. What is It's a huge word that has been blown out of proportion, and you're like, oh, yeah, things are changing. Things have always been changing. The world's been here for a long time, and you think we're going to be the ones that do it? Worst case scenario, humans aren't here to enjoy it anymore.
We may compete ourselves out of out of ability to live and thrive.
Yeah. But you don't think that something else will rise up and something else will happen later?
But that still... Pardon me? Oh, Diet Pepsi. See, this is why it's just whiskey.
Just whiskey is always the answer for you.
There, finally. Oh, I feel so much better.
You're worse than my wife. She's like, I can't burp.
Anyway, so, like, but an existential threat is for humans. Like, what threatens us? Because like, any of these end time scenarios can happen, and it doesn't mean that life on Earth is stopping.
Yes. Now, do you know what surprised me? Okay, we talked about climate change.
Yeah.
And how do we not talk about fucking aliens? I'm more worried about an alien invasion. I'm genuinely... Okay, now, what they are they planets from another being or us from a different time? Because
you sound so much like Joe Rogan.
What
about demons from a hell dimension?
No. Now, what I mean by time...
I literally know people that they're like, the aliens are coming, but they're not going to be aliens. They're going to present themselves like aliens, but they're demons. Disguised as aliens to make us accept them more easily than demons because they don't want to prove the Bible right.
Yeah.
And they're going to trick us into the end times
for
and usher
Death.
in the Antichrist. I literally know people that is something that they're worried about.
Which is fine. It's fine. We're talking. Yeah. So, anyways, what I mean when I say are they beings from another dimension looking to take us over or us? Because Joe Rogan pushes this idea. It's like, oh, they're looking out for us to make sure we don't blow ourselves up. Why would any other species believe?
Lately, he is on the they're us.
Oh, he has
They're
been?
us looking back.
Yeah. You see, I lean more that direction. I think because otherwise they have no reason to. Like, why would any? Like, I don't look at. Okay, I look at a lot of animals and think, I don't want you to go extinct. I don't look back at dodos and be like, man, if I could go back and save them, I would. I'd be like, no, they fucking went extinct for a reason. They're dumb, and maybe they were delicious. Who knows? And so, I don't know.
What if it was climate change, Michael?
Fuck climate change. Like I
What
said,
about the polar bears, Michael?
delicious. Have you eaten a polar bear? I would love to try one.
Bear meat is not for me.
No? Too gamey? I don't think it would be as gamey.
I think that might be the worst bear to eat.
Really? I guess they're scavenging the whole time.
Like they're scavenging. They're the most carnivorous.
Yeah, because you get a good black bear in the fall when it's like just feeding on those berries all the time. And
No, it's not berries that you want. You want them feeding on like fields. Like they love oats and shit.
Really? I thought
yeah.
the berries would help with the sweetness or whatever.
The sweetness.
Just make them sweeter. You're like,
No, like you want stuff that fattens them or builds
berries are
builds
going
up
to fatten
bulk.
them. Berries would fatten them a
But
bit.
there's not enough that they can eat that.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know enough about hunting. We got to have Mike back on here. Yeah, like I said, I'm more worried about an alien invasion than I am.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and that was going to be my honorable mention, but I thought it would be funny to see which one you thought I was actually worried about. And
No, I'm worried about both of them, honestly.
I am neither. Like it was an honorable mention for a reason. I'm like, didn't even crack my top 5. I
Okay.
just thought it was interesting.
I don't know. Are you able to talk about
My actual 5?
No, your actual experience with a UFO?
Oh yeah, I can fucking talk about that.
Okay, yeah, okay.
All right, so early 2000s, I was living in Ottawa, and I was delivering pizza, and so I'm driving to this one house. I even remember where the house was. I don't remember the name of the street because it was in French and everything. It wasn't numbers. They don't have numbered streets there. They're all names. It was right next to this school, and it was a house I went to all the time. It was just one of those people that always ordered. And so I knock on the door and I look. Oh no! I pulled up to the house, saw something in my rearview mirror of my car, and I was like, "Oh, there's a shiny dot." Cool. So I hop out and go knock on the door, and I look up and interesting. I talk to the person, get my money. I laugh at some weird joke because I don't speak French, and they always say jokes in French. I know how to say the numbers, but I don't know what they're saying after that. And then I look up in the sky, and then this thing just, it's gone. It shot out. And the first thing I said was, I didn't see fucking shit. And so I got back in my car and acted like nothing happened.
As in, nope, that didn't see that. I'm not going to talk about it. This is...
I am not crazy.
Okay.
And yeah, and I hopped in the car, started driving back to the office, and then to our pizzeria that I worked at, and it was on the radio. People were calling it in, and I'm like, "Oh, good! Oh, thank God!
I'm not crazy.
Oh, I'm not insane." And so I call in too. I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking saw it. I don't know what it was, but I saw it, and it was, I want to say 2004, yeah, maybe 2004, 2005 in Ottawa, and yeah, totally saw something. I don't know what it was. I don't care. It doesn't. That's the thing. I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give a fuck." And it's like, oh, is it because it was in Ottawa, which is Canada's capital. It's not like it happened in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. It was in Ottawa. I'm like, it seems a little too governmental and too specific. And even in Canada, I'm like, it's just, yeah. And so I was like, it's probably military or it is aliens and they're checking us out. I don't care. Like I should, maybe I should, but I don't. I don't give two fucks if it's aliens. I care about aliens as much as I care about climate change.
I just think it's amazing that somebody that I actually know, like, has an offhand, like, oh yeah, UFO, okay.
And I've never done drugs or I've never done DMT to make me encounter aliens and not care.
Yeah. But like, what blows my mind is how openly, like, ex-military and like even just the Navy is about this. Like, yeah, we see these things out here all the time. We have no idea what they are, what they're up to, but they're not our main objective, and we have shit to do. So just try your best to ignore them.
Totally happening. It is.
It's just
it's recorded. They.
Yeah, I mean, to the point where like even the White House is like having like meetings and press conferences about it.
They released like private, or what do they call them? Secret documents. They were like, no, these are no longer secret documents. You can see them, and nobody cares. It's like we're all fine with aliens. It's like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't there be? Hollywood's been telling us about it for years. And do you think it was social conditioning to get you so used to the idea of aliens? So
exactly. That's why the demons come in.
Again with the demons.
They're socially conditioning us through the evils that is mainstream media.
Yeah.
To be ready for their grand reveal.
Yes. Of course. Why didn't I see that?
Yes, and of course, like rather than just being demons, there's going to be aliens or just demons disguised as aliens, because that'll be a better pill to swallow. I don't know.
Oh, it's so dumb. It hurts my brain.
But like the fact that this is a thing, it's like, you know what, that it's not high on my list, but it's like that's a possibility.
Yeah,
I mean, like. With the vastness of the cosmos, like, who's to say there isn't shit out there that can just...
It's literally huge. And okay, here was this thing happened. I was listening to a astrophysicist talk about how the universe is expanding, and then of course it's Joe Rogan was talking to him, and he's like, yeah, the universe is expanding, and he's like, what do you mean expanding? He's like, it's expanding. He's like, into what? He's like, don't ask. And I'm like, fuck it, what do you mean, don't ask? We live in a world where the universe, as we know it, is moving, and they're like, it's expanding into something. Everything can't expand into nothing. That's not how physics works, unless it is, and I'm just fucking retarded. But I have to assume that it is expanding into something.
Either expanding into empty space or creating space as it goes, or...
But there has to be something for it to expand into, because it can't. Balloon. Okay. Balloon. If I blow up a balloon, it is expanding, but it is displacing something around it.
Yes.
And that's what I mean by it has to expand. It is filling a void that wasn't there before, but there had to be something. And so, anyways, he just said, "Don't ask," and I'm like. And then they'll turn around and be like, I'm an atheist. It's like, fuck you.
Okay, what are you saying? It's expanding into God? Is God literally just like
no,
a void in the...
No, to make the assumption that we live in this hyper-complicated world that we can't explain, and then turn around and be like, but I can explain one thing for certain, there's no such thing as God. I'm like, we don't even understand what our universe is expanding into, and then we'll just make this definitive statement. I'm like, I don't...
Okay.
That's my...
Again, you have to understand that when they say, but we can pretty much say there's no God, you have to understand what they're thinking about when they say God. It's not as nuanced as you, because you've spent 40 years on this earth thinking about God.
Yeah.
You don't think like, oh, you mean the Bronze Age deity? Like, I can definitely say Zeus. I'm not too worried about about him being a part of this whole deal.
And his whore son Hercules. Like, anyways, so yeah, it's of such an interest. Aliens are so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like every star has planets, pretty much. At this point, it's pretty much like axiomatic that most stars have planets.
Yes.
So like there could be stuff, and I know we like conquering shit.
Yeah.
Like
it's
why the fuck wouldn't they?
How is their evolution any different than our evolution?
Tooth, fang, claw, baby.
Yeah. Sorry, but I totally believe it. Is it possible for there to be aliens? Sure.
But even if they're not here to conquer, it still poses an existential threat because it could change life as we know it in drastic ways. Like, we could react really, really poorly
Oh, yeah.
on this whole thing and just fuck our own shit up.
So that goes to my number one. But I don't think I want to jump to my number one quite yet.
Okay, what's your next one?
All right. So actually, no. We talked about two of mine. Well, one of mine. But
I know, but we're kicking back and forth. I'm doing this game with you, which is
Okay.
real and which isn't.
all right.
And after we're done this, if there's any holes that we missed, I'll plug in with some of mine.
Bioweapons or Donald Trump?
Okay, obviously bioweapons is the real one.
I had to say Trump because there's people out there they think that way.
He's
It's
an
like, he is a-
existential threat to humanity.
I wasn't gonna do this game, and I just kind of created it. So I was like, oh yeah, bioweapons, like something created in a lab that was accidentally or intentionally released onto society and fucking killed us
Yeah.
all.
That could be it.
Literally-
That is fairly low on my probability
Really?
and fear list.
That is far more high. You see, I don't fear other things. I don't fear other things on my list as much as I fear that one. Mostly because I attribute a lot of stupidity to humanity, and I believe they're very capable of making that
So
mistake.
that one is on my list too. I have it as virus or plague or something like that. It could be natural or bio,
Yeah.
but like that's happened to us so many times where we've encountered diseases or viruses that has thinned our herds like tremendously.
Yeah.
Like not like quote unquote COVID.
That
Like
was on my
the-
list. I had COVID on my list.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Sorry to mess it up for you.
No, I had it on my fake list. I'm
Yeah.
going to get rid of it real quick.
But like that, was a blip in the radar. Like such a minor thing.
Yeah.
It's like the whole world, got like a really contagious flu. Okay. It's just not a big
really
deal.
old people and people who are immune compromised died.
I know. It's
Like
but,
they may have died from the flu anyways,
yeah.
but they died
even
from
s-
COVID.
even so, the life expectancy of humans is so far past what it used to be that it's kind of like, well, you're living on borrowed time anyway,
Oh, yeah.
historically speaking. But like, there could be something that would like say do something like what the Black Plague did.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
thin humanity's herd so much that it actually makes a detectable imprint on like the carbon emissions on the planet. Like,
Yes. The only problem I have with the Black Plague is how many things it took to go wrong for that to happen. It was not one thing that happened. It was many things.
Yeah, but-
Dysentery. It was wars happening. Tons of travel. It was humanity not knowing microbiology that well. Like there were things they could not know. So yeah,
but
would that happen
you
again,
never
though?
know. You never know what you don't know until it hits you.
Yes.
Right? Like that's assuming we know more about the future than they knew about the future.
Yes. And so
Like there could be a gigantic comedy of errors that would lead us into a place where
yes.
Where,
yes, very possible.
yeah, we're in trouble. Right? So to me, like that's something that could happen, but like I'm not too worried about it as being an existential threat to humankind, because even if, let's say, half of humanity died in this, which is horrific,
Yeah.
just horrific beyond description,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't upset society. Like it wouldn't put us in a dark age. It wouldn't undo all of the civilization that we built. It wouldn't undo all the records of science we have.
That's right.
It wouldn't do any of that. So the people that are left, I mean, heck, there'd be probably a lot of the people fulfilling those jobs and bright and stuff like that too. Like they'd still be there to
Yeah.
pick up their work and keep going,
Yeah.
keep doing it. And quite frankly, I mean, that'd open up a hell of a lot of a job market. There'd probably be a pretty good boom time afterwards for people that are left.
I was actually hoping that there would be a little bit more in our economy for us, because after this plague. I was like, oh, good. Maybe I'll have something, like the government will still have money for me when I retire now. Because all the old people that were going to bleed it out earlier than they should have.
No, not enough people died, and they spent
And
all of
that's
it.
the thing. That's exactly it. Not enough people died, and then they ended up just putting that money back into the system anyway. It's like,
Oh, and they just kept making it rain dollars everywhere.
They are. Do not depend on your government for your retirement. Telling you too. Make sure you're starting to put something away. You got time if you're in your 20s, in your 30s, get fucking on it. And I haven't done it in a while. I'm going to go broke eventually. No, well, I've got money set aside, just not enough. So, yeah, COVID's not my worry.
No, but yeah.
My bioweapons.
Yeah, some sort of biological thing, whether by
That's-
man or not, like it's something that
that's
could happen,
on my
but
list.
it doesn't scare me that much as far
No?
as
That's interesting. I think I watch too much TV too. Maybe I watch too much TV where the whole super weapon, but then it kills too quickly. That's
yeah.
that's most
Like,
of the problem.
a lot of those things burn themselves out by being too
contagious and too
contagious
deadly
or-
too
yeah.
quickly, and that's what everyone's afraid of.
Oh, like a zombie apocalypse over in a week.
Yeah, especially if it starts in America, like it's never gonna make it to us. Don't get your hopes up. It didn't even make my list. Zombie, I wish it did.
But it's just not a thing. It's just not real.
Not as much as I want it to
Like
be.
there was one movie where there were quote unquote zombies. It's a movie called Crazies. It stars Timothy Olyphant.
I have that one. I have it on DVD.
But they weren't zombies. They weren't dead.
No.
They were living humans infected with a thing that made them crazy and violent, and they would try and bite and stuff like that.
Movie.
That one is more likely than zombies. The dead aren't coming back to life to bite us. The dead are coming back when Jesus comes. That's science.
That's science.
The dead are fucking dead.
Unless you're Jesus. Oh, that's so funny.
So no zombies. That's not even on a fake one for
No.
me. I'm not worried about zombies.
It's one of those ones I want to happen that won't. Like, if the world is going to end, could it please be this way?
It's guilt-free murder spree, I guess. Is that what you're hoping for?
Yes.
It's like it's calorie-free.
Do you know how much I would lose weight? I would get in great shape. I wouldn't have to pay taxes anymore. Like, it's just everything's a win.
Oh gosh. Okay, what's next on your list?
All right, monkeypox.
You can't even get through it with a straight face. You do watch too much TV, and that's exactly what the last one was. You say monkeypox, but that's in the vein of what the last thing we just debated is.
I know. Like I said, I made a really leftist list of things that would end the world. Donald Trump, monkeypox, COVID, global warming. That's my leftist list. It's on the left page, too. That's how left it is.
Okay. So what's the real one opposed to that?
Super volcanoes.
Super volcanoes. Totally a thing.
We are overdue. There's one close by.
Which one?
Yellowstone. Relatively close.
I mean, it's close enough. It would mess us up.
Oh yeah, we'd be fucked. Straight fucked. Not partial fucked. We would be fucked.
That one wouldn't instantaneously kill us, but we would definitely be in the fallout of stuff we can't breathe and
starvation from crops.
Crops would die. Like
animals would die, so there'd be less meat.
It would be kind of a dinosaur extinction off sort of thing of just the climate would change enough from it that
we would die eventually a slow, painful, horrible death.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not in the upper echelons of wealth and a way to capture that, right? Like I can't go and take that for myself. Even if I became wealthy, am I of worthy influence to maintain my life above somebody else's? Like, yeah, I wouldn't make the cut, no matter which way.
So humanity's way out of this one is basically not be on this planet anymore.
Yes.
Like there's
nothing you can do.
You could maybe have a remnant, like hiding underground if you had an advanced enough scenario, but it's only it's literally an arc. That's an arc scenario.
Yeah, where you're just trying to outlast and you don't think you're going to starve on there too or not.
I mean, I guess that depends on how well of a system you have set up. If you can be self-sufficient, like a little geome or something, a biome.
Yeah, have your own little your own environment underground, or
if you could pull that off, okay.
Maybe.
But again, that's...
Are you ready today?
No, no,
No.
no.
You're not going to be ready next week either.
Yeah. I'm just saying, humanity itself,
Yeah.
if something like that was imminent and they got their shit together, they may be able to pull off an arc scenario, but still, humanity is done.
Yeah.
Like, you come back and...
It's Adam and Eve. Like,
yeah, that's Adam and Eve scenario starting from scratch. If what's left over is even salvageable for human life, right? Like that's we got to be off this rock if we want to survive that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, okay, that is something I can't do shit about. There's nothing I can prepare for. I am not of any influence, and I don't plan on going to a different planet.
So how do you rank that one in likelihood that humanity will experience it?
Ooh, 100%.
Okay.
I am 100% that it will happen. When, how soon, in my lifetime, next lifetime, no idea.
I'm of the opinion that that's probably not going to be a thing humans are going to have to worry about.
Really? That's okay. You think it'll be after humans have already gone extinct or moved?
Yeah, I think we're either going to be off this rock or we are already going to be.
Okay.
You know, we're already going to have punched our card and retired from existence before that happens.
Okay.
I mean, it's a possibility.
It's a possibility. Yeah.
I don't rank it as 0.
Yeah.
But it's one that I'm like, I don't think it's happening. Like even the supervolcano in Yellowstone, it's like the high probability chance of it happening is already lessening.
Really?
Yeah, like that.
I thought we were completely overdue for it, so we're like just waiting.
Technically overdue by statistical odds.
Statistical odds. Yeah, but
the
geomatic,
the plate, the Earth crust plate that it's on is already moving off that spot.
Really?
Like, because like there's like thin spots, you know, in the subcrust.
Yeah.
That like has like more pressure or pockets of built up gas or stuff like that, right? So right now Yellowstone is sitting on top of that spot and it's a particularly thin portion of crust.
Yeah.
So
it's already shifting.
That's why it is at risk of it blowing, because like that's so as long as Yellowstone is over top of that spot, it's at risk. But the more it moves, it's moving over it to more stable ground.
Well, that's awesome, I guess.
Yeah. That's already one that's the chances of Yellowstone happening are lessening.
Yeah.
There's other supervolcano-ish
it's still possible.
Places. Still
it's just
possible.
not there. Okay. All right. Well, that's my okay.
All right, next one.
All right. This one. Ooh, this one could play. Freedom or AI/Neuralink.
Oh, you're just being so blatantly antagonistic towards the left with your one list there. Freedom. I think freedom is going to be the death of us. Yes, of course.
Well,
Michael.
why do you think the World Economic Forum is trying to take it away? Because if you could be less free, you could be less an impact on the environment.
See, again, that all ties back into the environment stuff.
I know.
Like,
sorry. So we know freedom is the joke. Like I said, I had a joke list that was strictly funny, and some of y'all are going to be like, "No,
I thought you were going to have some like wild ass like."
No, they were jokes.
I thought you were gonna have some like wild ass like jokey ones like, oh man, I can't believe you thought of that. Like that's hilarious. But no, you're just ripping on CNN right now, which is funny, I guess.
It's funny to me, and maybe hey, we have some lowbrow listeners. I know we do, Dave, and I'm pretty sure he laughed at some of these.
Mr. Bubbles,
maybe, who has a podcast. We should plug him eventually. Yes, I'm fine with plugging him, and I'm pretty sure he's fine with us plugging him too. What is it called again?
All right, so our buddy Bubbles there, he's got a podcast called, what is it? Messed Up Tales of a Northern Boy.
Yes.
It's just came out. He records it on his phone. Like he has yet to invest in the stuff, so it's very raw, but the rawness of it kind of suits
him.
It suits him, and it suits the content.
Yeah,
like where he's just talking about messed up stories of his misspent youth or past youth, his misspent Arrested Development. And I find it wildly entertaining.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear more of it. So Dave, keep at her.
Yes. All right, what's next? No, the other one there.
AI and Neuralink.
Okay, so AI, that's definitely on
The thing
my
is, I
list.
put AI and Neuralink on the same thing because Neuralink is the idea that we can attach ourselves to the internet. Now, how would you, if you worked in a white collar job, compete with somebody who had a direct connection to the internet in their brain or a direct connection to their computer or even other people in their brain? And you, being a simpleton, compete with them.
Okay, I can think of a couple ways. One, you could hack them.
Oh, that's why I put it on the end of the world thing. That's
Like anybody
Anybody-
attached to that, you could get hacked.
Yes.
Like, you could.
you're
I don't know what that would do to your body. Like that whole Neuralink thing is a very rudimentary, like transhuman type of thing, right? Like
Yeah.
that's like dipping toe in the water of what some people envision transhumanism as.
transhuman evolution. Yeah, like the
But I think that's different than AI. I think the combo of being everybody kind of neural linked up, the combo of that and AI is scary.
yeah.
But I think AI is terrifying on its own.
Yes.
It doesn't even need the Neuralink
I
part.
know. I just had to mention Neuralink as well. I guess some of y'all might not know what Neuralink is.
Oh yeah, so that's something that's
Sorry.
that's one of the companies that Elon Musk has, where he is working on a direct connection to the internet that would be implanted in your brain and somehow tied in with your optic,
Yeah.
your optic nerves and stuff like that. So basically, it'd be like having your smartphone plugged directly into your head.
Which is terrifying.
And on one end of it, though, like it's like, well, I mean, how much of a jump really is it? Because we're already like so
The
we're already so dependent and so attached to it for day-to-day life. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that are just walking with their phone in front of them all over the place.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
looking down, like that is their portal to the world, even if they're walking out. It's like for those people, that's just more convenient
Yeah.
because they're already sucked in.
Yeah. And it's just they're already there, but at the same time, could you imagine them having a smart person like Elon Musk having a direct connection to the internet and information and all this stuff? Like that guy,
I'd be like a god,
he would
or
be
like,
like a god.
South African Siri.
See, I never thought of that.
Yeah, everybody just turns into a glorified version of Siri for themselves.
That's right. And then you got then you would just be, I would be seen as a simpleton, even though I'm pretty sure there's people out there that already see me that way. And if you see me that way, fucking stop listening. You're becoming less smart because of me. Get the fuck out of here. Just kidding. You can do what you want.
Yeah, but I mean, how would you compete with people like that? I don't know. I don't know how to compete with with certain people as it is. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how to compete financially with people that understand NFTs and crypto and shit.
Nobody understands everything. That's the trick. Nobody actually
It's a-
understands. They
it's a
say they do.
fugazi.
They're fucking lying.
Just saying though, but there are people
Yeah.
making bank off that
yes.
stuff,
Yeah.
and I don't understand. I don't know.
They see.
I can't compete in that world as it is, so it doesn't really present much of a change for me. Like I don't see that as an existential threat to humanity. I just think of it as humanity changing in a worse way.
Yeah. What's that guy that
But we're always changing in worse ways.
we are? But for every worse way we're changing, there's so many advancing in medical technology. There's advancing in neurological.
Yeah, it's
there's
funny.
advancing
As individuals, as the less smart we get, somehow the more advanced our culture gets.
It's really odd. It's it just highlights the really smart people like Elon Musk, who he's like, hey, I'm going to make a company that makes flamethrowers because fucking why not?
Yeah.
But also go to space for some reason. He's like, I'm going to go to space because that's what's left. It's like that's what's left to do that hasn't been done. He's made batteries. He's made cars better that look good compared to most of the cars that are out there today.
Yeah, as far as like he's done a really good job at making desirable electric cars.
Yes,
Like
for
one-
electric cars.
Yeah, ones that are like, I'd ride the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Never before have I ever thought that about an electric vehicle other than Teslas or Harley Livewires.
Yeah.
They're the only things that I'm like, I'd fucking ride that.
Yeah. Other ones you're like, oh,
I mean, like, hard pass.
hard
Like,
pass.
I don't want, it's just,
You want this Chinese motorcycle? No.
no. But I mean, the production of electricity, like, that could friggin' do us in,
Yeah.
you know? Because, like, that actually could be an existential threat. Electric cars could be an existential threat to humanity.
Yep.
Point being,
If you say solar flares, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
that is an element of it. So, let's say
Because I have it on my list.
I was listening to a podcast earlier. They were talking about the Tower of Babel falling, et cetera, and
Yeah.
about what time it was in human history of like when the writings of that they can find that kind of point to it. They're like, that's right about the time of the collapse of the Bronze Age.
Yeah.
Like the technological like boon that bronze gave people in that time, it made the first Babylonian Empire what it was.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where it's hard to find the material to produce bronze, to do that alloy synthesis.
Yeah.
And once that came, that whole civilization came crumbling down as that physical thing that they needed, as they couldn't get enough to manufacture what they needed to survive.
Yeah.
And like Egypt would have been a holdover from the Bronze Age until the next thing, right? Like they're kind of survivors of the Bronze Age that kind of came out of it. They didn't really need that to exist as an empire, and until
Well, it was because it wasn't
until iron came.
Yeah, it wasn't a foundational element, right? They had other means of doing things. Where
Exactly, but as soon
when
as
you base your entire economy and understanding and development on one literal element of manufacturing and economy, you can't.
Exactly.
You can't.
So then, then the Iron Age, rose up, and then new empires and stuff like that kind of came out of the collapse of that because they could run through everybody with swords that wouldn't break with one hit.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, in the same way, in this electric age that we're entering into, what happens when you run out of what the material you need to make these batteries? Or when it becomes too cost inefficient to even get, even if it's still there. Then there's an existential crash that's going to have all this infrastructure that was built up to live off of this one technology.
Only if it ever gets if it gets that far. I don't think it'll get that far. I honestly do not believe it's enough of a threat.
It may burn itself out before
it'll burn itself out before it has a chance to even. They're gonna do the math. They're gonna look at it and be like, we could dig deeper, or we could just flash up the pumps again, get the gas going, and realize this is something we need to make as efficient as possible. Because that's the thing. People are very good at making things efficient. You want to make something look at lights. Do you remember
even that's a finite resource that eventually is gonna run out too.
They are able to make it out of biodegradable materials. Crops, they can literally grab canola and separate the oil and make it into a biodiesel. Yes, it doesn't burn as clean, but they're working on it, right?
Yeah.
They can take these things and turn them into fuel. As much as it's finite, we're able to make it. There's tons out there. Don't believe the lie that there's only enough to sustain. I know. I'm not telling you. I'm telling the ether.
Because you're looking me in the eyes.
I'm telling the ether, the void that is out there. Do not believe the lie that there's not enough to survive us in the next 100 years.
Existential threats to humanity. I'm not thinking 100 years.
Yeah.
Like, could be 100 years, could be 1,000 years, 2,000 years.
Yeah.
But
I don't see electrical as a threat.
I think it is, depending on how hard they go into it.
Yes, well,
like if they go into it as hard as they want to, they're setting themselves up for a fall.
Oh yeah,
and that's a big threat. Maybe not to humanity. It's an existential threat to our society.
I just think to our society, yes. To society overall,
well,
no.
To organized modern society as we know it.
Yes, and that's where I think
And
will be that will be
then-
our
then
that
there's
will
gonna
be
be
our fall
some-
of Rome. That will
Yeah.
be our fall of Rome. If you make yourself hyper dependent on this one thing, and then you have a country that didn't do it, and they're like, no, we see, like, we can't afford those electric cars, and then all of a sudden, bam, the electric cars are gone. Well, guess who fucking looks all hot and heavy? Brazil with their, I don't know, maybe Brazil. Just whatever country that is a little bit less developed and not as far along in the electrical thing. I don't know where Brazil ranks. I just named
I don't
off
know.
a country that seemed. Anyways,
I just know Canada needs to keep its shit together because we have a ton of resources and a ton of space. And there may come a point in time
when America invades us and makes us free.
they won't.
Come on, please.
I think you over romanticize America.
I do. I really do.
Because they're fighting the same fucking shit we are.
I know. And they look to us, too. That's the really frustrating bit. It's like, look at what Canada's doing. It's like, shh, our prime minister's a tard. Don't look at what we're doing.
Yeah, it's like
Nobody believes in this guy. He's like a turtle on a fence post. Nobody knows how he got there. We just know he's not supposed to be there.
sorry, 52% of us know that.
Yes. And the other 48 are I don't know. I don't want to say mean things to y'all, but
Yeah.
all right. Okay, nuclear destruction.
Oh yeah,
War, not nuclear, like not power plants.
Okay, well, one, I'm going to differentiate the threat of nuclear bombs from nuclear war. The bombs themselves are a threat, regardless of whether or not there's
Yeah.
a war.
Yes,
That's the one that I think freaks me out the most as the most imminent threat that
the
we
bombs
face.
themselves.
The bombs themselves. Because
Okay.
there's just tons of these things sitting in silos, ready to fucking rock,
Yeah.
depending on Cold War technology to keep them in check.
You don't think that they updated the technology?
I am imagining that they are in the process of it.
You think they just let it sit for 30 years and just? I have a good faith view that
Fuck
they were like,
Okay, seriously?
That's my problem.
Government.
Oh, sorry.
Bureaucracy. You're not talking about normal people. You're talking about fucking bureaucrats.
that's true. I'm sorry. I forgot.
They're
about
not people. I don't respect them. They're robots, Morty.
robots. All right. So when I say war, yes, I mean the actual bombs, not nuclear power
And
plants.
do you think the ones in Russia have been upgraded?
No, no. Russia. I think they.
What about the ones sitting in India?
More duct tape, tuck tape,
Right? and
duct tape.
if one or two of those things, for some glitch in the system, lets off, could potentially set off a chain reaction of people pushing buttons, reacting, wondering if we're in a state of war, reacting. That could...
Oh, a silo going off and be like, oh, somebody shot it. It's like, no, it just went off. It's like, no, we need to fire just in case.
Yeah.
So, yes, the bombs themselves / war. It's like, for me, I'm not even sure about the war part, but yes, the bombs.
It's like they make a useful threatening device, but I don't think anybody... I think the idea of mutually assured destruction is still a strong enough deterrent.
Yes.
For anybody except for, let's say,
A crazy
a
person?
terrorist cell or like a mentally unwell person.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that would be a likely thing too. People are fucked up.
Yeah. And that's why that makes my list, but it's Pandora's box, man. That is, how do you put it? It's already been opened. We can't do anything about it. There is no fixing it.
I don't know. It's like a mix of Pandora's box and Schrodinger's cat, because they're not going off. The chaos of
what I mean by Pandora's box in that one is the fact that their existence,
the
their
technology
existence,
of them is out there. Yes.
Yes.
So right now they're sitting in this.
A box in a box.
Will they launch or won't they?
Yes.
We won't know until they do.
Yeah.
It's like basically the problem we're in.
Yeah.
I think at that point that's Pandora's box. Like,
But you can't put that back in. You can't put away
Yeah.
that technology, because if you put it away, guess what? Somebody else won't, and now you are the weak stick. So
Yeah.
that is on my list. But for actual power plants, no, didn't even make it.
Oh no, I'm not worried about power plants melting
I know
down.
some people do. They're like, "Oh, Chernobyl." It's like, yeah, you're surprised at a bunch of USSR people that were like pushing things that aren't experts. They're literally being forced to do this as jobs, whether or not they know what they're doing.
Yeah. I'll just say this, like, keep them out of tsunami zones. Jeez. You didn't see that one coming? What was that?
Japan, no, China, Japan.
That was Japan.
Yeah, Japan. I don't. The thing is,
Like-
the ocean's it's very good for cooling cooling everything.
Yes, it is very good for that. But like at the same time, like why not put it on the other side of the island?
Like inner. Yeah. Yeah, there's far less likely, at least, to have a tsunami hit it. Yeah. Did you know tsunamis didn't go anywhere? Like, if you live in California or on the coast or whatever, yeah, tsunamis could be a risk, but not even close on my list. I'm like, it's just.
I mean, it's not a risk to humanity, just
No.
to whoever is fucking dumb enough to live on a beach.
Yeah.
It's like what Jesus said: build your house on rock or your house on sand. I mean, everybody that lives in California is living in a house on sand.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's you take the risk of living in a place that is beautiful and has lots of potential for production, even though they've messed that up because they're bureaucrats.
Yeah.
Or you live inland on rock and you are safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're taking the risk to live anywhere near the ocean,
Well, look at what happened in Vancouver last year, right? Remember the floods that were happening down south when it was completely flooded, 100%. That
happened in November.
November, yeah, not last summer, November. Like it completely flooded.
Yeah, the whole Abbotsford Valley.
And it's like, yeah, I feel bad because we have friends that I love that are there, but
that literally was a lake.
Yes.
Like before anybody lived there. And like they set up bevies and dikes and stuff like that to hold water away, and they built a very fertile valley in the bed of what was a lake when they first showed up.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, yeah, eventually
shit goes south.
Water goes downhill. Shit runs downhill.
Yeah.
So if there's enough water that happens all of a sudden, yes, of course, it's going to go to the place where it normally floods.
Yes.
It's going to make a new lake. That's just the way of it. You're just in a constant fight against a new lake forming.
Well, yeah, look at, you can't say, what is it, Norway? No. I don't know, one of these European countries that makes really great dikes. And then you've got New Orleans, which gets destroyed by sin because people are not literal sin, but still literal sin. That's for another conversation. Anyways, tsunamis, not even close to the list. It's geographical. Yeah. Oh, and really fun thing, David Suzuki, this hyper-environmentalist guy who's saying the icebergs are melting and all this stuff and it's going to flood us all out. He owns a place in Vancouver. Do you know how expensive it is to live in Vancouver?
Very expensive.
It's stupid expensive. Now, if you believed your shit and you were like, if these flood, we're going to be underwater, would you own a piece of expensive property? Like a very expensive property.
I mean, that depends. If I figured it was happening in 150 years, I'd be like, hell yeah, I'll live here for now. It's not happening tomorrow.
He's not saying it's not. He's not saying 150 years. Okay, he proclaims a lot sooner than that. Anyways, it's just an environmental.
Of course he does. But I mean, he's still it's obvious that no matter what, it's not going to get hot enough fast enough that you're going to lose your house.
Yeah.
He's going to die before that's ever a thing.
Yeah.
So why does he fucking care? Even if it is a potential danger. Mm-hmm. He's not a hypocrite. He's pragmatic.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, oh, yeah. I'm gonna
he might be a hypocrite in some ways, but that's not one of them.
Keep the property value down. He's that guy firing a gun on the porch to keep property taxes down. All right. See, this one, I've got two more. Okay, let's go with the really simple one, asteroids.
Could happen.
Yeah. Now, I do understand.
I think probability is super, super low because we've got a really good big buddy in Jupiter.
Yeah, Jupiter is our bodyguard. If you don't understand astrology, which I barely fucking do, but I understand that because of the direction that Jupiter is flowing and the one that we go.
Well, it's just the gravitational force.
Oh yeah,
we're darn near in a binary solar system because of how massive and energetic Jupiter is.
Yes,
it's this close to being a tiny star.
Yeah.
So it sits there, and as small objects get into the solar system, it just sucks them in through its gravity.
Yes. So Jupiter is our giant big brother in our solar system, and that's why he is one of the reasons we have life on this planet, is because of that. But with that being said, didn't we get hit by an asteroid not too long ago in Russia?
Yeah, it happens.
It still happens.
It's literally one of those things that could happen out of nowhere. It's not like there's eyes everywhere in the sky.
Yeah, we can't.
And like it could be a super volcano situation where an asteroid hits us just big enough that it creates like a nuclear winter, or like just like too much particles in the air and we have a new ice age.
Yeah.
Like it's happened to species before on the planet. It'll probably maybe happen again. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where like the frequency when those like catastrophic hits happen
Yeah.
is so low and so few and far between.
Yeah. Now,
I mean, we get pelted by shit all the time. That's what like you look and see a meteor shower. It's small meteorites like
literally entering our atmosphere and disintegrating.
There's like clouds of them that the Earth just moves through regularly.
Is that crazy? That's
I mean, yeah. Asteroids are a thing. They're all the time.
Yeah.
Like they're happening literally right now while we're talking.
Yes.
The Earth is getting pelted by small ones.
Yeah. So that's why it's on my list, but it's pretty low. It's
Not worried about that one.
no, I'm not overly worried, but at the
And
same
it's going to
time,
happen so fast. I was like,
Yeah, it's one of those. I'm not really like. There's no sense in worrying about it.
yeah. And like in all the things that we might be able to do, like if we do see one with enough time, like we can probably engineer our way out of that one.
Yeah, if we see it.
If we see it.
It's such a small thing. Yes, could we engineer it? Well, look, have you seen that movie Don't Look Up?
No.
Oh, it's pretty funny. You'd have to watch it.
Okay. I'll put it on my list.
It's on Netflix there, and it's very environmental-esque, but I think they hit so many points of right-leaning thinking of not ignoring the problems in your life. Like, don't ignore this thing. It's quite good. Don't Look Up. It's a little lefty in some areas, but just because it makes
all
fun.
movies are.
All movies are. But there is some right-leaning values that bleed through despite itself. Next, my last one, Hadron Collider.
Hadron Collider. Okay, so let's say it does one of the things, smashes particles together, creates a miniature black hole within the planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then black holes, if not contained, which who knows how to contain them.
I don't know. It literally does create black holes. They had like it almost happens like every time that those things do collide.
Yes, but
they're just small and they evaporate.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't looked.
Yeah, those things make black holes.
Really?
Right? They do.
I don't know. I didn't do any research. I just thought about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
wasn't that supposed to be a world ender?
They
I
make
didn't know
they
evaporate.
make small black holes and they just evaporate.
That's weird. Because we have an assumption when it comes to black holes that they just suck all matter into themselves.
If they're big enough.
If they're big enough. But
If they're dense enough.
so are we talking about a hadron collider that creates black holes, but there is not enough matter to sustain them inside of the... Okay.
Yeah, so it's creating a point in space where two things connect and collide and create enough density with their stuff to create a small black hole, which is like stuff packed in so tight that it becomes too dense for energy to escape itself.
Okay.
But at that point, it just gone.
Interesting. So they spent a lot of money to make miniature black holes that... Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm less worried now. But again,
Yeah, no,
it's pretty low on my list.
those things aren't going to make a big whirlpool within our own planet that's going to suck itself in and
Unless it breaks.
Yeah, I mean, we might be more likely to like just errantly run into a rogue black hole in the cosmos, and our whole solar system gets sucked into it.
Yeah, that could be what our solar or our universe is being expanding into, is a giant black hole.
Yeah, it might be.
Might be.
It might be the result of a black hole that's collapsed in and then
I'm glad we didn't do this
boomed
high, because
out.
that thought could have gone a lot. All right, cool. That was my list of many things. Anything on there that
I mean, you pretty much hit. You
didn't-
honestly hit all of mine.
Oh, sorry, solar flares. But again, we touched on it with the electrical, and I thought of solar flares. I'm like, man, it could take us out. Yeah, but it's not going to take out some countries that don't depend on electricity as much as we do.
Yeah, like it could be a society. It could be a huge bump in the law for society. Mm-hmm. I think my worry would be if it somehow let loose the nukes.
Oh yeah.
Like if it shut down fail safes and stuff like that, and
yeah, that's the only one that
made it possible for those things to somehow let loose. But no,
I doubt it.
I think it would be something like a big enough solar flare. If it fried all of our stuff, we'd probably just be able to rebuild the infrastructure that's in place.
Yeah, you just go out in the country for a little bit, and come back.
Just fire up some diesel engines and
old carburetor style. You don't need technology. You just need a proper carburetor. It's not like people don't know how to work on carburetors. Yeah, maybe not in the city they don't.
They make new microchips every day. I mean, like a lot of the infrastructure for building that would be done, but we would build enough to refire up the infrastructure.
There'd be a huge lag, but
yeah,
most of humanity would survive. I imagine, not in the city.
I don't see it being a death thing.
No, and that's why after thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I guess like when we were talking about the whole electrical grid being a failure, but yeah,
like if we lost all of our remnants of analog know-how, like right now we're at a place where there's still enough people that remember how to do shit.
Yeah,
but I mean, like if it happened in 200 years, that might be a society ender.
Yeah,
if there's nobody left that remembers how carburetors work, like or like there's nobody left that knows how to get gas out of the earth and put it into a combustion engine, or if that infrastructure is gone and there's a solar flare, then that's a collapse of the Bronze Age.
But we still have people alive today that
so right now
can
not a threat. Rig. Yeah, right now minor threat for society, not for humanity. Further along the line, it's going to become a bigger and bigger threat for the society that's built.
Yeah, or for all humanity if nobody captures the idea. But
again, we're just going to be, then it's just going to be a whole bunch of people that are living with all the stuff around us. We don't really know what to do with it, but it's there, but we'll be fine. We'll still grow plants, we'll still eat, we'll still fuck, we'll have babies.
Yeah.
Like life will go on. It'll just be in the shadow of a once great empire.
Yeah. It'll be the fall of Rome. So I hit a lot of stuff. Did I hit anything that you didn't?
The one thing
I didn't say dragons. I thought of it after. I'm like Dragonheart, Rain of Fire. Yeah,
Rain of Fire. Yeah, it's great. I actually love that movie.
It's a great movie.
Okay, so the one I've got two here that you didn't say. One you're gonna hate. One you're gonna love.
It's a climate change.
So the one you're gonna love, we do an idiocracy.
Oh,
like we breed ourselves into a dumber and dumber society until we just have nothing left, and we're like, we just dwindle off into nothing.
Yeah, I like that one, but yeah, I understand why I don't see it happen. Because like I was saying before, somehow the dumber we get, the more advanced we become. It's because the actual smart people are still doing things, and they're not focused on hair growth and boner growth. Watch Idiocracy. It's such a great movie.
So good.
I don't believe the premise of it, the educated should be running us all. I don't believe that idea. I know people say it. I'm like, no, because then you get a very charismatic person who's very well educated that just becomes a tyrant.
But you need a base level. You need a base level of intelligence for the whole population.
Yes, but I don't think
because
we should just be ruled by the intellect or ruled
by the ivory tower.
The ivory tower. No, fuck that. No, there has to be freedom, and that's why I don't like the.
You're assuming that the ivory tower people would take away freedom.
Yes.
I don't think that's necessarily obvious. I think right now we're in a point in time where that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean another another group of intelligent people in another time with different circumstances would have a different mind.
I think the best that an ivory tower could do is give you the perception of choice and reality. Like if it was an idiocracy level of control, if they could give the idea that oh no, we're competent, don't worry, but you still have free will. You could choose a red shirt or a blue shirt. I don't know. Just yeah. Idiocracy, I like the idea, but at the same time it's so dystopian that
Well, yeah.
it's so terrifying.
We are heading towards dystopia. Like, don't get it twisted.
I am an eternal optimist where I don't think we're heading to dystopia. I honestly don't. I think it's a pendulum and it will swing one direction.
Of course it will. That's what I mean. We're heading towards a dystopian end of the pendulum.
Okay.
And it'll come back and it'll go forward. But right now we are sitting at a point.
You don't think we're swinging the other way?
No.
No, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yes, I do.
Really? Yeah. See,
I think we're at the front. We're at the front end of a dystopian swing.
I don't know. After seeing how much shit has gone with the this is why I think it's going the other direction. Did you know in the EU or in the UK they have shut down the what do they call it? Early transitioning thing. So this is for these kids transitioning from male to female or female to male. They have shut down the only clinic that they had and now they're suing. They have seen the harm that is done to children mentally and physically, and they are now suing.
Oh, good for them. Happy to hear that.
So that's one. Two, Roe v. Wade got turned over. One, it was bad law. Not that.
Okay, no, we're not getting into that. That's a whole podcast in itself.
I know. So this is what I'm saying. That's one thing.
No, but like
now we are starting to see the left eat the left.
I want to get into that conversation about
Roe
versus Wade.
And
because I see that as a Pandora's box that's just been opened.
Okay. I want to have that conversation later as well. But what I'm saying is it's bad law in and of itself. Now, that's one thing. Now, people are paying attention to their education systems. They want to see that their kids are being taught things that are actually true, not perceived true. And it's like they don't want to be taught by a bunch of ideologues telling them that they're racist just because of their color of sin, which is the essential. That is fucking racism. If you assume somebody is a racist because they are white, guess what? That's fucking racist.
Yeah.
I'm not going to assume that you're lesser than because you're a different color. I'm not going to say I'm better than you or privileged because of my color. No, and that's being rebutted. I think we're swinging the other way. I don't know how far it goes.
Yeah, so
I think we're on the trajectory to get better.
The world is not just one giant pendulum, right? There's a whole bunch of little ones going all over the place in different ways.
But I've seen a few go in the right direction.
I know, and that gives a guy hope.
Yes,
it gives a guy hope. But I think there's still the finishing of a big swing that is happening on a more macro level that we are still riding out.
Okay, all right. Well, I can't. Yeah, there's no way to argue that.
Like it's.
I think I think we are on I think we're on a macro swing the other way. I really do. Or at least in a slow, like it's that hang time, right? You got that swing, and then it just sits there and starts moving back. I really do think we're swinging the other way, and that things are going to go, but which terrifies me to how far it swings the other way. It really does, because I don't want to see tyrannical rule of just a bunch of.
So there you go, dystopia. You just proved my point. At the end of the thing, there is some kind of thing that is opposite of ideal.
Yes.
Right.
So,
So right now, like there's a place called Ideal.
Yes.
We're going the other direction, and regardless in whichever right or left or things.
I think we're swinging back to the Ideal. That's the thing. And I just think we're going to swing past it too far. That's my worry. I think we are going back to the Ideal, but we're going to fly past it. Which, yes, but it's a pendulum. What I'm saying is it goes both directions just as violently, and that's what I worry about. And I look forward to hitting the Ideal just for a moment, just for a little bit.
I feel like we've got a couple good, solid years of chaos.
And we'll see.
To wade our way through, and just I think on an economic level,
Yeah.
like we're headed for dark times.
Yeah. So, yes, economically, I would agree with that. I would agree
Like
with
I don't
that.
give a shit about morality, about
Yeah,
culture, about
I
shit
was-
like that. All of that is inconsequential to the fact that I think it's gonna be really, really hard for my son to make a buck in the world coming.
Yeah.
And if you can't make a buck, your options are limited.
Well, people would have said the same thing about you and me.
And they're right. They're fucking right.
It is hard to make a buck, but can you do it still?
Yes, can do it. Can we succeed with as many opportunities and as easily as
No.
people in the 2 generations ahead of us?
No. No, generations ahead of us? No.
No. Like, like we're heading towards a rude awakening as far as what we've grown accustomed to as a culture and what is sitting in front of us.
That's why I think idiocracy might be a good thing. If we can keep the next generation just dumb enough to keep us working.
No, I don't want to keep us. I want them to make enough money to
Sustain our
sustain me.
retirement.
I want some free time to do some cool shit. I don't want to work until I'm 80, my fingers to the bone, putting drywall on the fucking wall.
No. I'm just saying you could charge yourself up for a lot higher if there's nobody to replace you. And you could be like, oh, I'll do it when I do it.
Not if the money's not there.
Oh, that's true. That's a problem.
Right? Like, are you getting rich?
No, but I'm also not great at anything. I'm good at this. This shit here, I'm pretty good at this. So if y'all could start paying me, I'd really appreciate it. I'm really good at drinking beer. There's a country song about that.
Well, we need to learn. We need to get better at marketing.
We do.
It doesn't matter how good your content is, and if your marketing sucks.
Yeah.
It's like the people that are making serious bank making content, their content fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I
just
don't understand
pure
it.
garbage, but they're great at just being famous.
Yeah, so like, oh,
Their marketing strategies are amazing.
yeah, and they fucking suck. Like, how do these... How can you literally watch some of these YouTube stars that are out there that are just full of horseshit? They haven't grown. They haven't developed. I'm hoping people look at me 5 years from now and be like, oh, yeah, that guy's not the same. He's not the same as he was even then.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago.
Yeah, but if your Twitch stream or your TikTok thing or whatever is just
It's
talking about
such
like
shit.
what mumble rap record like, you
Oh.
really like and which one you really don't, and
Yeah, or
then
react videos. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to react to this music video.
react to other people's content and put it out as content and make money. Like, those people are insane.
Yeah.
And in a way, I almost respect the fact that they're making money doing that when we're doing this.
We're
And
having intellectual wrestling matches and thinking about things bigger than ourselves and like, hey,
Yeah.
can we make
See?
something of this? And then,
Dystopia. Idiocracy. It's happening.
Yeah.
Retarded dystopian future.
So anyone who watches YouTube videos with Logan Paul and all these shitheads, you are part of the problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yep. I said it. You disagree, come at me, bro. I don't care. You are contributing to the problem. I would love to see Logan Paul fight an actual fighter. Like, not somebody who's retired, not somebody who's on the way out.
Are you
not
talking about
somebody-
the other one, Jake?
Jake
He's the
Logan,
guy that fought
but-
Woodley.
Yeah. Either one of them. Both of them are quite good boxers. They're good boxers. I'll give them that. They are big, but they're not fighting anybody. They're not fighting.
Oh, they're doing the tin can thing, right?
Oh yeah,
crushing
they are,
tin cans.
They are taking guys and they are just taking the paycheck, getting the name, and these guys are getting paid enough where they're like, I don't give a fuck.
But that's like, I mean, but that's the genius of what they're doing too, right? Is they're not risking. They're
Yes.
not risking much and making bank.
Yeah, and
So why are we letting that happen?
I'm not. Are you? Are you?
I mean, the greater we.
Oh, yes.
I know I'm looking at your eyes just like you were before, but the ether you.
Ether you. Why are you giving them your attention? And it's I do understand it, but I don't. It's like pop music. Just because everyone else says they like it doesn't mean you have to.
But if you're Anaconda, don't want none. Unless you got buns, hon. Like,
Okay,
that's
I understand
poetry.
that.
Poetry in motion. WAP.
WAP.
Like, it's like, really? Like, this is
where our culture's at.
it got to the point where I'm like looking back at like Michael Jackson singing a cappella
Have
or
you looked
doing
at
his
him?
things, and I'm like, holy shit, he's good.
Yeah.
Regardless of the whole pedophile stuff. Like,
Regardless
why,
of the fact that you could say regardless of the pedophile stuff,
regardless of that, I'd rather him than any of the people doing pop music today. Like, it's so bad compared to like the level of talent that there was.
and the
that
thing
was
is, all he was singing. If you look at his dancing compared to the dance, everyone talked about how amazing of a dancer he was. If you look at the level in which dancers are today, and I hate all that shit, but at the same time, I can still recognize talent for what it is. They surpass Michael Jackson. You look at what Justin Bieber is doing; he's better. He is. He's in better shape.
I legitimately have never seen one of his things.
Okay, Michael Jackson was a.
But I will say
But
that
you've seen Michael Jackson. He
Yeah.
was a rail. He was a string bean, able to do some of these dance moves. But you look at Justin. If you look at him or any of the other guys that are out there now, they could take him to task.
But at the same time, they're taking him to task after aping his style. Aping his whole shtick,
Yep.
and then doing it better is different than innovating to begin with.
Yes, but that's pop music in and of itself.
Yeah.
I fucking hate pop music. Oh, I really do. Just when a computer can write your lyrics, I'm done. Sorry. A computer literally
when 5-year-old AI can write better songs than you.
yeah.
Not even like new.
It's not even
AI.
coherent either. It's not even coherent songs. It's just words strung together, and they don't fucking make sense. They're dumb. Oh, I hate pop. I like metal and country. Country literally has to have soul, unless some of this other stuff. Like Chris Stapleton, you listen to him, Zach Brown Band. They're phenomenal country artists.
Sorry, I'm just thinking of the Rick and Morty episode where they like did the whole "Show me what you got," the music show, and so Rick just goes out there and just.
Get
Just shit on the floor, get swifty, just and like it's such a great jab at
so
modern pop
good.
music because it's just nonsense. And he's like,
shit.
whatever, if you feel it, they'll love it, and it worked. It worked.
Oh, I think we just lost like half our fans.
Get
No, I
Swifty's
don't
a
think,
cold, stone cold motherfucking jam, yo.
I don't think any of our listeners listen to pop music. I don't know. Maybe. If you do, give us a like and 5 If you like pop, give us 5-star. Share us
But
with
anyway,
your
so
friends.
you see what I'm saying?
Oh, it's
The
so
idiocracy
bad.
scenario is a serious threat to humanity in general.
Yes. And did you know, I'm pretty sure you saw the same interview that I did where they were talking about Crocs in the movie. At one point, they're like, oh, we need some futuristic footwear that's kind of stupid and ridiculous. And they brought in Crocs. And they showed it to the director, and he's like, those are horrendous. Like, seriously? It's like, yeah, these aren't going to last. And fucking here they are.
Here they are. And like little Pokemon, they've transmorphed into their new form in Yeezys. Which are just like the most garbage dog shit thing I've ever seen. How freaking expensive are they?
Okay, I've got a question for you. Do you own a pair of Crocs?
No.
Never?
Never have. A set of Crocs has never hit my feet.
Me neither. I've never put them on. I have zero desire to. I know some people that have, and I'm not ripping on them, but at the same time, I don't want to put that on my feet. I don't know what it is about them. I just have zero desire to put them on my feet.
The only people that I've seen like wear them unironically are just like they're folks where I'm just like, you have no game. Like you are the human epitome of a fart. It's like you're a fart that has found form.
That is of the people that we've met. If you wear Crocs,
I don't know.
You're
You may
listening
be-
to this,
you may be different.
the exception,
You may be different, but the folks that I know that wear that shit, like
unless they do it in closet, like you've never seen it. I have a pair.
I guess
you've just never
I guess
seen
it's one
me wear
thing wearing
them.
them as slippers.
Yeah.
If you're at home or just farting around in your backyard where you're making a fire or moving some stuff, yeah, whatever. Wear what's comfortable.
If you wear them in public,
if you wear those things in public, unironically, fuck you. Idiocracy. It's happening.
oh, that's so funny. I am wearing socks and sandals right now, just because I want to wear something on my feet, and I don't want to be cold.
Well, this is your pothole. Do what you want.
This is my pothole.
I'm not gonna say I endorse it, but at the same time, I can't fault you for wearing what you want in your own home. Okay,
Yes, that's right. That being said, I don't go out in public. I don't even go out in public in sweats. I don't do it. I will wear jeans or work pants or shorts or whatever, but I will not wear sweats in public. I don't know what it is, but I just find it
yeah.
lazy. I know you do, but it's I've seen you do it
It's
when
only
you're
at work.
working.
Like it's
when you're working and you're not like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go hang out
'Cause
at the grocery store.
yeah, because like compared to let's say jeans, like I can't like do squats in them as comfortably
Nope.
to get to screws at the bottom of the wall, et cetera, et cetera.
Cotton
Like
cleans a lot easier, like
Yeah.
the sweats and stuff like that.
It's-
They're great for that.
it's what I wear when I'm painting.
So I'm not ripping on that. I'm ripping on I'm going to go to the grocery store
Yeah, but at the same time, like
in the afternoon.
I'm going home to change before I go do errands. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, you worked today. You were mudding. You don't look like it. You don't look like the cocaine cowboy that you do when I see you at work. He's covered in white dust.
enter Sandman.
Yeah. And so, you have this thing of, if I see you right after work, yeah, you're going to have a little bit of white dust on you. But if I see you when you've had a chance to shower, because you always go home and shower and get cleaned up, I appreciate that, because I know guys that they'll come from work to hang out with you, and if they work at a shitty, stinky job, you're like,
They're still shitty and stinky.
they're still shitty and stinky. It's like, dude,
They leave
you
that
could-
odor on your sofa. You're just like,
I don't think he listens to this, so. But yeah, I appreciate it. I really do, and that's part of the hope I have for humanity. I even teach my kids. I'm like, jeans, come on, wear some pants, wear shorts, whatever. Just
Yeah.
not sweatpants.
I hope in the coming dystopia that our children will be the warlords. That they will rise to the top
What?
and be the dominant elite with their jeans and real shoes.
Real shoes.
And
Look, I have Dockers.
they're gonna be the warlords. They're gonna be the top G's.
Yeah.
And they'll be okay. I'm hoping that for them, but I'm like, man, I don't envy what you're facing.
No, not at all. Like, when they're literally trying to dissolve gender, that is a true sign of a hyper privileged society,
Yeah.
and that's the best way that I can put it. When you're so privileged that you need to argue about what bathroom you need to go into,
Right. And
you have no struggle. You don't know what struggle is if you're worried about what bathroom you can go in. Heck, I shit in the woods. I haven't shit in the woods in a long time. I have done it in the past.
Hey, you can shit in the woods no matter what gender you are.
Yes.
Or no matter what gender you think you are, the woods doesn't judge you.
The woods don't
The bears
judge.
might, but the woods don't. Because they're fucking trees.
They're fucking trees.
And they can't see or think.
Or think. Yeah, you can do it.
But I will.
I'll judge you. You can judge the shit out of me. When you gotta go, you gotta go. And sometimes you don't have a choice.
Oh no, I've shit on a log.
Yeah.
It's
I was working one time, and I'm driving, and I'm in a convoy.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I gotta go. It's like, I pull over. The guy's like, you good? I'm like, just gonna go use that bathroom over there. He's like, that's a tree. I'm like, caught that, did you? I'll see you in a bit. And it was just had to do it.
Gosh.
All right, I think this conversation has devolved.
I think it's worn out its welcome.
This was a fun one. I really enjoyed it, especially after the cults one. I like cults. I did. I enjoyed that one, but it was a lot more work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one was just more fun.
This is way more fun.
This one is just shooting the shit.
We didn't even talk about why people care. We could have gotten to the philosophy of why people care about it.
Because we're always scared about dying. we're scared about stuff.
We're just scared. All right, now we found the philosophy.
Yeah.
We're a bunch of fucking cowards. Humanity
Well,
is full of cowards.
or we're animals capable of foresight. And no matter
we look for dimensions of fate.
yeah, and no matter what, all good things come to an end.
Yep.
You just different people think it's going to be further or closer along the spectrum, but the fact that we know there's an end, I think creates at least a little amount of anxiety in us.
Now, I am a humanity-based, long-term, nature-based. Fucking who knows? It could be short. It could be now. It could have happened already by the time we went to go release this. It could have happened. So, end of the world, long base if it's up to us. If it's not up to us, it's an asteroid or super volcano or whatever.
Yeah. See, I'm not worried about the natural stuff. I'm more worried about us blowing shit up.
I'm way more worried about nature. I think we're going to be blindsided completely. And it's not going to be like The Happening.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg. Where nature turns on us and puts a drug in us to make us kill each other.
Oh, that was such a dumb movie.
It was fucking stupid.
Such a dumb movie. Yeah.
I'm glad it exists, but it was bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me really the front runner for ways that we're likely going to go out.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, none of these things are things I'm like, this is happening to us. I just ascribing it different levels of probability that arrange it in an order. But for me, the nukes going off is probably the highest on my list of potential ways that we're going out.
It's pretty low for me. That one is it's fine and everything, but it is low on my list of things I'm worried about. I don't know why. I have an optimist. I have an optimist bias. I really do. I assume we'll be fine there, because I assume that our
bureaucrats have it in hand.
Oh, you said it. I was thinking it, and I'm like, I assume our government will fucking figure it out. And then you
keep
it,
thinking
and
they're
I'm like,
people and not bureaucrats. Bureaucrats aren't people, Mike.
I know. It's so fucking horrible. You got a dying corpse as a president and a cancer
and an angry orange man as his front runner as the like.
Oh, we're doomed.
The world's leading nuclear power is run by the dumbest fucking people in the world. It's equally across political spectrums. Y'all
both sides.
Just
I
all
don't,
the people that need to run your country don't want to, and all the people that want to are people you need to hang from the gallows.
Yeah, anyone who wants to shouldn't, and the people that should won't because they know better.
Is right, like they almost need a benevolent tyrant to take over that ship. Like at this point, it's going to be one of those.
It's so true. It is so true that they need somebody to just be there and be like, no, I got this. And then they're like, you're anti-freedom. And so then the right goes crazy, even though they're on their side. We're like, no, I want you to have as much freedom as you want. Red shirt or blue shirt. It's up to you.
Well, I mean, even if they were just like, okay, guys, we just need somebody that's going to handle this geopolitical thing going on and make sure the economy works, and we're just going to have him sitting there and doing that job for 20 years. Somebody who's competent, and y'all, the rest of you, can do whatever the fuck you want.
So, like Putin before he invaded Ukraine.
I would say maybe
or Georgia.
It's hard to say.
Crimea.
It's hard to say like Putin because they have a whole different thing that they inherited.
Yeah.
Right. Like
the post-Soviet.
Let's say America is in the middle of running between third and home base, and the USSR is tripping over their shoelaces after passing first and is eating a face full of dirt. Like that.
Yeah.
That's where they began this whole thing. So. Somebody who has the authority of Putin, who's not stuck in an ass backwards bumfuck nowhere, wants to be superpower piece of shit country that just happens to have nukes.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of respect for I don't have a lot of respect for Russia's position in the world. I don't.
I used
It's
to.
not a superpower.
I used to have a lot more respect, but then he started going nuts, and I'm like,
He's been nuts for a long ass time.
I know, but at least I could respect it. I could respect the nuts before the don't pull your jihadist bullshit here. The don't try and infiltrate our woke or our country with your woke ideology. That slight suppression
Yeah.
of the left, I appreciated, but it's gone fucking nuts. Like it's gone a little crazy now, and I'm like, okay, now you got too far.
Honestly, I think that whole aspect of like right left culture stuff, I honestly think people should just fight it amongst themselves.
Yes.
Like they don't need a Putin to put the hammer down like this is the way it is.
Yeah.
Just let the population do what it wants.
But the problem
Let liberty reign in that aspect.
Yes.
But like what this big structure that is sitting here that is decrepit and old, like just the government structures of the world, they just need somebody to take it from the helm and keep it from collapsing. And keep the random shit that's happening down here infiltrated and turn it into a big chicken fight.
Yeah. All right, I hear what you're saying, and you have no idea how much I want to keep this conversation going. I really do, because I want to talk about the whole idea of just letting the plebes fight it out and just maybe have but the problem with America.
But it's not plebes; it's real people. It's letting the culture sort itself into the place it wants to be.
But you can't have a culture without any influence in government when you have a tyrant or a person with superior control.
Again, that's the risk you run. You're like, okay, are we giving
that's
this?
What I'm saying. Like
are we giving this
to
a benevolent person that is going to exercise restraint and keep hands out of where he doesn't need to put them and just have it solely focused on the actual problems that he needs to fix within the government structure?
Yeah.
Or are you going to have a tyrant that is just all-encompassing and wants to account for everything and have everything be his way? You're flipping a dice, and chances are that...
fuck no matter what?
Chances are if you do get a benevolent tyrant, he's going to turn in malevolent at some point.
Yeah.
That, dystopian future.
Yeah.
It's...
Everything's going to be okay.
The future's fucked.
I think...
You're like, everything's going to be okay.
Yes, I can believe both those things at once. One,
yes, 100%. The future is fucked.
Okay.
The future is fucked. It's not going to be what we grew up with.
No.
But something else is going to come. The kids are going to fight it out. They're going to find something new. Or they're not, but they're still going to live. I don't think the future world is going to be one that we would be comfortable in.
Yeah, but I think people have been saying that for generation upon generation. I really do. I do believe.
But if you brought somebody, right. Yeah, they're always right. If you brought somebody from 1940 into this world, they would have a crisis.
Yeah.
They'd be like, what is this? Like,
what went wrong? How do I fix it?
What went wrong and how do I fix it, right? Like,
yeah.
You're a relic from another time.
Yeah.
And I think more than it's been for a while, you and I are living relics.
I feel that.
Yeah, like we're somebody that should have been 20 years ago.
Yeah,
in our mentality, in the way we do things. Like we are a relic of the past, and we're in a time we don't belong.
Yeah. Well, we stand on it. I
think we're elastic enough to make it work.
Yeah.
Like we're elastic enough to make it work to some degree or not, right?
Yeah.
But I think we're at a precipice where I think it's going to be less likely for people from our time and age to work to make it work in the future. Like
yes and no. I say yes and no because yes, if they fail to recognize that they stand on the shoulders of giants, because that's something that you and I do. Is that we recognize that we have a lot of unearned knowledge, a lot of unearned wisdom, things that have been studied before. We have listened to, and I know a lot of people have. I'm not saying we're the exception of the rule. A lot of people recognize that they stand on the shoulders of giants. And as long as we teach our children, that will endure. The understanding that you didn't do it on your own because you couldn't have. We think that we have in our youth. yeah, I did it on my own. No, as you get older, you recognize further and further that you didn't do it on your own, that you had a lot of help along the way. And as long as we keep that,
I understand what you're
it'll
saying,
endure.
but I think that's irrelevant. I think that's irrelevant. Like that,
I don't think it is.
We're at a time and place where culture is changing enough that the new normal is going to be something that isn't our world.
But
Like
I think it will.
Our kids are going to live in a world of different values that we do more than what we grew up in.
Yeah. But what I mean is...
They're going to be a remnant. I think our kids are going to be a remnant
Oh, yeah.
of us, but the world is going to be more different compared to them
Yeah.
than it is for the world being what we grew up in as being different than us.
That's very true,
right?
because...
I think the gap is widening.
Yeah.
I put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's all over. Like it's going to be 100% clean break, and our
Yeah.
kids are going to be something we don't recognize.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. But the gap is widening,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the gap is, but I really have a faith in our ability and endurance to truth and curiosity for wisdom, and I think I'm hoping that our children will be like the people who can fix a carburetor. They may be looked upon like a bunch of of simpletons, but when the shit goes down, it's like, no, these guys, they understand things in a way that I cannot understand because I wasn't raised in that way of thinking.
But is that going to be valued?
Depends if there's an apocalypse.
Yeah.
If things go south, it will be valued. But if things go just swimmingly all the time, which it never does, shit is going to hit the fan eventually, and I'm hoping that the way that we raise our children is to endure past the failings of society. And that's why I'm like, yeah, sure, we may be not beyond our time, but we may be living in the remnants of the past. But a past is a little better understood, a little easier to fix. You ever tried fixing fuel injection? It's a pain in the dick. Fixing a carb, you rip it apart, and then you just take.
But at the
piece
same
by
time,
piece.
I'm like, I'm fucking done with carbs. Like,
Man, I would love.
All I want is a bike that goes frum, is on.
Yeah.
It's not leaking gas out of the float bowl.
Yeah.
It's not like.
Yeah. It's
carbs. You want to change the powered profile of this? All right, we'll plug a computer in. Boop boopity boop. All right, you now have 15% more horsepower and torque.
Yeah.
Like magic. Like, I want that so bad.
But carbs are easier to fix. Fuel injection, you don't have to until you fucking do.
But like, how many cars have carbs now?
Cars? None.
How many? None.
None.
Like,
I can't think of a car I've owned in the last 10 years that had a carburetor.
Like if
truck, yes, I had a truck that had a carb.
If right now all computers went out on all cars, people would just be riding bikes.
Yeah.
I mean, which I could see the fun in that.
I'd be on my bike.
But that's going away.
Yeah.
Like that's just going away.
Yeah. I'd have to skip a lot of wire to get my bike going.
That remnant is going away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that end to that analog era is just right on our doorstep.
Yeah.
And our kids aren't going to have any recollection of it other than what we tell them, but that is different.
Yeah.
Like my dad still remembers his frontierness of Presbytew.
Of not having a toilet.
But even he is a remnant from, like, that shouldn't have happened in the 60s.
Yeah.
Right?
60s, he should have been fine.
You know, like, he should have been fine, but it's still, he's got this remnant of that. But, like, he can tell me stories of that, but I still never experienced that.
Yeah.
And so if push comes to shove, I might be able to kind of think, you know, like, I might be maybe a touch more handy than some people, but it's still not going to be with the wealth of experience that he had with it, right?
Yeah.
Like, the world is it's just changing so fast.
Oh, I always thought about that. Okay, so my parents used to always watch Survivor a lot. And then we watched some of it. I'm like, hey, so I asked my dad, I'm like, Dad, how long before you'd have indoor plumbing? Because he was just one of those guys that couldn't sit still. He'd always be working. He might have got voted out early for voicing his opinion. But trust me, that place would have had a toilet and indoor plumbing. Like, he would have made one. Both. So, yeah. He's just But could I do that? Fuck no.
Yeah.
I could make plumbing. I'd be like, your water's gonna run away. Yeah, I could.
Yeah,
Fuck yes, I could.
yeah, I mean, you could do that, but like, could you build a giant reservoir that had, like on tap, off tap? Could you have flushing? Would you have a really, really good way to take care of all of the waste and get it away so you could, like,
Oh, a good way to get rid of the waste. Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, I got a way to get rid of the waste. You just put it outside.
put it
That's
out?
not a good way. Just right next to the drinking water and dysentery. I did
But
think
still,
of
I mean, but that's like reverting. If we're in a situation where we're reverting to more primitive times, we're actually like going to be fine.
yeah.
But going into the future,
Oof.
you and I are in trouble.
Yeah. So we need
That's what I mean,
we need to bring forth the end of the world just so we got a chance.
right? Like we could actually do with an apocalypse for our own sakes. Like that would actually benefit us at this point
so
in time.
good in apocalypse.
Hell
I,
yeah! Like
I actually do know how to create water pressure so we could flush and actually have running.
there you go. See, like we actually like would really benefit
It's usually gravity fed.
of one of these apocalypse scenarios happening to us, or a societal collapse.
Yeah.
I think we're more in trouble if things go swimmingly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm meaning. Like as society progresses, like you and I are falling off from relevancy faster than anybody else in history.
All right. So we got to shut down the power grid.
Yeah, do it.
Can you mix mud by hand?
Yes, all you guys
You
listening.
just have really smooth walls and plumbing.
All right. Let's wrap up.
All right. I think the best way to avoid the end of the world is to say God bless, and
And don't be a dick.
pretty simple.
I think so. Remember, kids, God will end the world because you touch yourself at night.
All right, that music has been brought to us by Kirk the River Wells at Liquid State Audio. He is the guitarist, the producer, and the mixing engineer. Thank you from Devin and Mike at the Blue Collar Philosophers.